keeping the commandments for our righteousness, for our heritage, our legacy, for a reason, for our purpose. And if we were to keep the commandments, the Most High God would be dealing with us. Well, he would have us on high, I put it that way, in rulership. But something happened because the other nations got you on the bottom of society. And they know it, but you don't know it. And we're going to show you exactly what they know about you. Let's bring that out in the book of Judah, chapter 5, verse 20.
The book of Judah.
Make sure you're taking notes and reading it. Judah, chapter 5, verse 20.
The book of Judah, chapter 5 and verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and that they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
Read that again. I don't think they listen.
Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against...
And they sin, meaning breaking God's commandments. Go ahead.
And they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
Their what?
Their ruin.
Their blessing.
Their ruin.
If we sin against God, that'll be what?
Their ruin. And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
Keep going.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
You see that? The other nations, they know exactly what's going on. They know that if they keep you in sin, the Most High God ain't dealing with you. He gonna let them rule. He gonna let them continuously put their foot on your neck, keep you on the bottom of society, keep you in poverty when you sinning. So they know we got to keep them in sin. But they also know if they wake up and they start keeping these commandments, don't deal with them, because they God gonna be fighting for them, and we have no chance against the Creator of the heaven and the earth. You understand that, brother? When we keeping God's commandments, He fighting for us. When we reject His commandments, the other nations do what they've been doing throughout our history, putting us in captivity, slavery, keeping us in the projects, in the hood,
Right.
because they know they read our book, we don't. How crazy is that? The Bible written for the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, but we don't want to read it. But the other nations read it so they know how to deal with us. Even though the Bible give us clues on how to deal with them, they know how to deal with us. Everything is out of order, you know. But let's go to Jeremiah 2 and 14. Because we don't know what's going on. You've been put to sleep. You've been blinded to the truth of the matter. You think you're a good boy here. All I got to do is go get this money and pay my bill, and I'm good. I'm straight. What about when you seeing your people constantly killing each other or getting gunned down by the other nation? What do you do then? Do you even question the fact, why is this happening?
Bring it out.
No, you don't. All you want to do is run around having a good time. That's only momentarily. What happens when that time is over, when that party is over with, when that club closed? Then you back to reality, back to dealing with a broken household, with a relationship that doesn't work, when your kids don't listen to you, when you're going back to that bottomless job where they don't care about your opinion or what you got to say, never have, never will. What happens then? Do you question anything? No. Why? Because you got a slave mentality. You got a slave mindset. Let's bring that out in Jeremiah 2 and 14.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 2 and verse 14. Is Israel a servant?
Is what?
Is Israel a servant?
Are we servants here in America? Yes. We don't own any business. Name one company that the so-called black man owns that's nationwide. I can go to New York and find that business the same way I can go to California and find it. No. Why is that? We a cursed people. You got a slave mindset, trying to go get that carrot while a master riding on your back, thinking when I get that carrot, everything's straight. Selling you a dream, inclusion. An illusion of inclusion. That's what my brother brought out the other day. Letting you think that you part of something. You at the job, you think you made it to a supervisor role. You ain't doing nothing but doing what they will.
Bring it out.
You controlling your people, because your people the one putting in work.
Right.
They ain't out there doing that. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they the ones out there putting in the real work.
Bring it out.
and you make it to a manager position, you think you're doing something. You think you make it to this neighborhood, you think you're doing something. No one is above their nation. You got a slave mindset. Read that again for him, brother.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 2 and verse 14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? The young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they are his land, and they made his land waste. His cities are burned without inhabitant.
We slaves here. We servants. Victims of servitude. That's all it is here in America. So-called land of the free. You can't do nothing without their permission. The Lord said you're going to have to go to your enemies and want of all things.
Right.
You can't drive down the street without their permission. You can't leave the country without their permission. You got to go to them for your resources, for their housing, for your automobiles, for everything. The Lord said these are your enemies. They know who they are. You just don't know who you are. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. God's chosen people. Do y'all know y'all God's chosen people?
Bring it out.
Or do you think you're just an African American or a Negro walking around the park having a good time? You are an Israelite according to the Bible.
Right.
Stop rejecting what's right for you, your royal status, to be ordinary or beneath your enemy. Realize who you are. You are great. You are royalty according to the scriptures.
Bring it out.
Your brothers out here standing here bold as lions to preach to you, to your people, and you reject it and walk off. Meanwhile, your damn enemy standing there watching, trying to learn in amazement as to why and how these brothers out here speaking like this.
What?
You reject this. Why? When brothers trying to help you to get on your feet, to change your mindset, to change your communities, your neighborhoods, what do? You reject it. And you keep moving.
Bring it up.
As if life is sweet. That's what's wrong with our people, though. We gonna bring out this truth today, regardless how people feel, how they look. Even if they reject it, the Lord said, go prophesy to the wind if they don't want to hear. Because the message gonna go out. The truth got to be spoken.
Right.
And that's what we gonna do. Whether they will hear or forbear, we gonna speak this truth. You don't know who you are. You reject the fact that you're royalty. You're trying to be equal when the Lord said you're above all nations, above all people on the face of the earth. This is in the Bible. Why you want to be a nigga? Why you want to be an African American?
Bring it up.
Why you want to be everything but greatness?
Right.
The Lord said you special, you holy. But you want to be everything but. You want to be colored. I want to be a nigga. I want to be a thought, a thug.
Right.
What in the hell you going to wake up? Stop falling for the okie doke. Stop going to punch in master's clock when you scared to work for yourself. You scared to put in any work for the Lord, but you'll punch that clock for the damn enemy.
Bring it up.
And he ain't did nothing but show you how much he done had his foot on your neck all your life. Ain't never gave you nothing for free. He ain't never killed anything, ain't never did nothing for you. But you don't want to put no work in for the Lord who wake you up every day. You're too busy. You're too damn lazy. Put some work in.
Right.
Realize who you are. Let me get that.
The book of the Song of the Three Holy Children, verse 14. For we, O Lord, are become less than any nation.
We are what?
Less than any nation. And be kept under this day in all the world because of our sin.
We become less than any nation because of our sin. You don't understand what the hell going on. Read 15 for me.
Verse 15. Neither is there at this time prince or prophet or leader or burnt offering or sacrifice or oblation or incense or place to sacrifice before thee and to find mercy.
Ain't nowhere we can go to do what we supposed to be doing. Ain't no real leaders. They telling you to do whatever to feel good, prosperity. That is not going to help you. Prosperity starts when you start keeping these commandments. So your households are together again, where your children start to obey you. When your relationships are not broken, you ain't got to worry about your husband or your wife cheating on you. You ain't got to worry about these things when you start keeping these commandments and demand these things. You can't sacrifice to the Lord. The sacrifice you do today is supposed to be a living sacrifice from your own body.
Right.
You turning away from evil, from this wickedness, and start keeping these commandments. Like not working out on the Sabbath. Did you know that, brother? You ain't supposed to be working out today, man. It's the Sabbath day, a day of rest. No working, no buying, no selling. We running to and fro in this world to do what? Nothing. It's all in vain. You're going to run around the track for five laps and still go eat a whole damn pizza later on.
Right.
What's the point? You're wasting your time. It's all in vanity. You know? Let me get Deuteronomy 32 and 9. Deuteronomy 32 and 9. But we're going to go back to the beginning. That's where it all started. In the beginning. We ain't going to look at the fruit. We're going to look at the root. Bring that up.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 9. For the Lord's portion is his people.
Is his people. Not everybody, but the Lord's portion. Go ahead.
For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Jacob. Israel. Whose name was changed to Israel.
Right.
That is the Lord's portion. Keep going.
Verse 10. He found him in a desert land and in waste howling wilderness. He led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye.
He found us in the wilderness after Moses freed us from the Egyptians. As a son, howling, crying in the wilderness. Led us by the hand. The pillar in the night, pillar in the daytime. And he gave us instruction, which are the laws, statutes, and commandments. For our heritage. We don't even know these things. We thinking it's somebody else. Jump down to 13.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 13. He made him ride on the high places of the earth.
Whether you want to know it or not, we used to be in rulership. We used to be in rulership. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We used to rule this world. Say it. Read that again.
He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the fields. And he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock.
You see that? The Lord had us on top. Riding on the high places. Eating the good food. We eating the foul foods here in Babylon the Great. They foul food. Everything is fried.
Right.
They foul food. Everything got pork in it. Everything got GMOs in it.
Right.
We here in America eating the foul food.
Right.
But the Lord said he had us riding in the high places, eating the good food. Now we over here in servitude, serving the damn enemy, eating the foul foods, hand me down.
Right.
You eating that swine thinking, oh, this is good eating. Eating these chitlins thinking it's good eating. Eating this shrimp. Bottom feeders. Scavengers.
Right.
You eating it thinking it's a delicacy.
Bring it out.
It's some type of luxury. Because you went and put in work for master. He gave you some crumbs. So you want to go eat an abomination, think you doing something. You're simple as hell. But bring that out. 16.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods.
That's one of the reasons why we in this servitude, in this captivity. Because we did what?
They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods.
The first commandment he gave was don't have no other God before me. And that's exactly what we did, the opposite. As soon as he put us in our land, went to serving other gods. We still doing it here in America, whether you know it or not, by celebrating these wicked ass holidays.
Right.
Santa, Thanksgiving, Valentine's, Halloween, New Year's, all these different holidays. They are Greek gods and goddesses. For Mother's Day as well. They ain't gonna tell you that. Why would they? As long as you worshiping them, spending your money, your time, and your energy on them, they good. They know you in sin, just like we brought out in Judah. They say if these people err, they stay in sin, that'll be their ruin.
Right.
So their job as an enemy is to keep you in sin.
Right.
To keep you on the bottom so they can stay in rulership. So they can stay on top of you. While you run around thinking everything's sweet, they clapping their hands at you, shaking their heads like, good job, we did it. Look at this. Is this the perfection of beauty? Look how we swallowed her up. Look how these Negroes run around here. Look, they the greatest thing on the planet, but they want to be under us. They want to be subject to us. Keep reading on it.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy with a strange God. With abominations provoked they him to anger.
Abominations, eating the swine.
Right.
Thinking it's good for you. Because you've been fed that throughout slavery. You think it's good for you. I gotta have that bacon. Gotta have that bacon, egg, and cheese.
Right.
Gotta have that sausage with my pancakes. Foolishness, abomination. Keep going.
Verse 17. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God.
Sacrifice on the devil. A simple way would be what just happened on the 31st of October. Whether you want to believe it or not, you were sacrificing on the devil. You're dressing up and looking like goblins and goons, following their customs, their traditions. You following all these pagan holidays. Whether you know it or not, those are the doctrines of devils.
Right.
That's what the Bible speaks of. So you celebrating and you doing what? Sacrificing to what?
They sacrifice unto devils.
Sacrificing on the devil. You working 7 days, you sacrificing the time to spend with your family so you can go earn money, breaking the Sabbath, so you can do what? Buy gifts to break God's commandments. And then once you spend all that time and all that money, you end up broke after the fact. And then the child or the person you buying all these gifts for don't even appreciate it. So you done got a whole lot of heartache and pain, lost your money, lost your strength and energy trying to provide for a holiday. It don't even make sense. You're sacrificing on the devil. And they ain't gonna never teach you these things. But that's in the Bible. And that's why we out here to give you the truth of the Bible. Keep going.
They sacrifice unto devils, not to God. To gods whom they knew not. To new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not.
You see that? Now you got the presidents, the mayors, the senators, the police. We ain't know nothing about them, but y'all bowing down to them. Flag come out, you standing up out your seat saluting it. That flag ain't gonna save you nowhere in this world. You can wrap yourself in the flag and walk up and down the street. They ain't gonna feed you because you got a flag on. They ain't gonna make sure you got a roof over your head because you wearing a flag. They are not going to take care of you. That flag don't do nothing. It's man-made, made by your hands. What can it possibly do for you? Did that flag wake you up this morning? No. So why are we honoring it? Why are we bowing down? Why are we serving it? You're signing on the dotted line talking about I'm going to serve for my country. For Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam don't know you from a can of paint. But you serving and signing over your life for these devils. Sacrificing for devils. The Lord got a problem with that. He done woke you up and gave you everything thus far. Yet and still you reject him. And it just goes to show you, even if you thought he was a white man, or a Chinese man, or he didn't have any color, you still don't serve him. You still don't follow anything that's in his book. If you say that the Most High God or Christ is for everybody, you still don't follow nothing that he say. Right. So that doctrine is bullshit.
Bring it out.
You say color don't matter, foolishness. You got a black and white church. What the dude said at Sunday at 11 o'clock, that's the most racist time in the world. Because you got separate churches. If color didn't matter, everybody should be in one building.
Right. Bring it out.
If color didn't matter, you shouldn't have had segregation back in the 60s. And on before that. If color didn't matter, there shouldn't be no redlining in your districts, in your neighborhood. If color don't matter. If color don't matter, why we got color in the first place?
Right.
Think about the foolishness that we think about and use for excuses to hide the fact that you being oppressed and you have an enemy. Think about these things.
Bring it out.
Keep reading on that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 17. They sacrifice unto devils, not to God. To gods whom they knew not. To new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful, and has forgotten God that formed thee.
You hear that? You're unmindful. You forgot about the Lord God who formed you. Said he knew you in the belly before he formed you. You in this society, in this lifestyle, in this generation, you forgot about who created you. You more concerned about what your boss think about you. You more concerned about getting a like or a comment on social media. Trying to live a lifestyle of some type of reality show TV star. You're foolish and simple as hell. Trying to impress folks that you don't like or that don't like you. You're simple as hell. The Lord talk about that all the time throughout the Bible. His people, the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we rebellious, stiff-necked, don't want to listen to nobody. Can't nobody tell us nothing. Y'all ain't got 5 minutes? Y'all got 5 minutes for the Lord? That's all we ask.
5 minutes.
We don't want no money. We don't want nothing else from you. 5 minutes of your time. Because we're not out here for the hell of it.
Right.
We out here for our people. All praise. 5 minutes. Because whether you know it or not, I'm sure, have you ever heard that you're the Israelites according to the Bible? You have? Did you know that we're supposed to be keeping God's commandments? Do you know that there's more than 10 commandments? You didn't know that? Most of our people don't. And that's why we out here on the corner to let our people know we're supposed to be keeping God's commandments. That one reason alone is the reason why we're in the condition that we are in as a people, but not keeping his commandments. They don't teach them, nor do we keep them. If we don't know, we can't keep them. They bring the Bible out, we go to church, we sit there for hours and years on end, but they never crack it open and tell us what God actually says. It says, keep my commandments and live. When you don't keep my commandments, I'm going to punish you. Just like you would your child. You tell them to clean their room, they don't clean, they got to get a punishment in order to teach them a lesson. That's what the Lord is talking about in the Bible. He kept talking to us, prophet after prophet, captivity after captivity, telling his people, keep my commandments. That's all I ask for. It's not hard to do. Tell us don't eat swine, don't eat pork, don't even touch it. But they sell it everywhere here in America. And we think since we've been eating it since we was young, that's good eating. It ain't did nothing to me yet. But you didn't know that the Lord said we're not supposed to eat it. And it's in the Bible. Why these preachers and pastors are not talking about it? They tell us the laws of God are done away with. Right? Most of us didn't even know there was a law. Bring it up. So why would God do away with this? That's for our benefit. Swine, pig don't even sweat. Got all kind of bacteria in it. When you sweat, you're releasing all type of toxins, bacteria. When you sweat, you get sick, you sweat it out to get rid of that cold. Pig don't sweat. All that bacteria, all those different toxins are locked in his body. You ever thought about the reason why when you cook bacon, ham, you don't have to season it? It's already salted. It's loaded with sodium. That's why people eat it. They end up in the hospital. They got all these different diseases from it. Gout, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. All these different things stem from eating the wrong foods. God prophesied about or told us about in the Bible. About not eating swine. Simple commandment, but they don't teach it to it. In fact, they sell it at the church, cook it at the church, and then tell you, just pray over it. Everything good. That one commandment will save our people. Our people constantly eating, and they getting their legs chopped off, foot chopped off, dying of heart attacks at a young age, because they're eating the wrong food. And the people are not teaching you things because they don't even know nothing about it. And we're going to bring it out to you, sister, just to let you know we ain't supposed to be eating swine. We ain't supposed to be eating shellfish. I know that you might think, is that a Muslim thing? No, this is a biblical thing for the Israelite. Bring it out.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you.
I can just pray over.
He is unclean to you.
I can just put it in the vinegar.
He is unclean to you.
And what?
Of their flesh you shall not eat, and of their carcass you shall not touch.
See that? The Lord said we ain't supposed to eat it nor touch it. But they got swine everywhere. They put it on the pizza, the hamburger, they wrap the shrimp in it, they put it on the steak, Christmas ham, Thanksgiving ham, put swine everywhere. They even putting it in the toothpaste, putting it in the marshmallows. There's different candies that we feed our kids. Why would they have to do that? Go to the store and try to get a chicken sauce. You got to read the back. They'll put chicken in a pork casing. They put pork in everything to keep us as Israelites, men, women, and children in sin. Because we're not keeping God's commandment, we getting that punishment, and they know that. Bring that out of Judah right quick. Judah chapter 5 and 20. We're going to show you that they know what we're talking about. They know to keep us in sin in order for them to stay in rulership. And that's our whole purpose of being out here, to talk to our people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, to let them know that they God's chosen people, and that we got to wake up in these last days and start keeping these commandments. Otherwise, you're going to see continuation of George Floyd. What the dude's name is? Ahmaud Arbery. You're going to see some more Tamir Rice. You're going to see more of your own brothers and sisters gunning each other down in the neighborhood because they don't know who they are. They think they African Americans, blacks, Negroes. That ain't nowhere in the Bible. We royalty. We better than that. Bring that up.
The book of Judah, chapter 5 and verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error in this people.
So this is a man talking to Holofernes. It was a Babylonian general. A man was talking to him about us because they were trying to infiltrate our city. Go ahead.
And they sin against their God.
Start from the top.
Now, therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error in this people.
Talking about the Israelite. Any error in this people. Go ahead.
And they sin against their God. Let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
You see that? They said if they sin against their God, that's going to be their ruin. So they know today in Babylon the Great, hundreds of years later, they still follow that same format to keep the Israelite man, woman, and child in sin so they can stay in rulership. Keep reading on that though.
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity,
there is no sin in this people. Go ahead.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
Just like he did Egypt. He built Egypt up to be his great kingdom, just like America is the greatest kingdom on earth right now. He said, but if their people be keeping the commandments and no sin is found, keep it moving. Otherwise, they God gonna fight for them, and we become a reproach to the whole world, just like Egypt was. Everybody knows that Moses came through to save the people from Egypt, and the Most High God destroyed Egypt.
Right.
And everybody on the planet know about that. The brother just said, hey, pass by them if they keeping the commandments, pass by. Because the Lord ain't gonna fight, he ain't gonna let them go down. He gonna fight for them. So I ask you a question today. Are we keeping God's commandment? Do you think God is fighting for us as a people? Is God fighting for us?
He is, but we doing what we want to do. Well, some of us doing what we want to do.
As a majority, is he fighting for us? Because if he was, we wouldn't be subject to payment. We wouldn't be going and punching nobody else's clout. We wouldn't have to pay no bill. We wouldn't have to work. They would be working for us. But we on the bottom of society. Our people killing each other, can't trust each other, don't even talk and speak to each other when we walk by. Households are broken, communities in shambles. So I ask you again, is the Lord dealing with us? These are the questions that we need to be asking. These are the conversations that we need to be having amongst our people on a daily basis.
Okay, so how do you feel about it? Do you think he's not fighting for us?
He's not. He said it. It's all throughout the Bible. Let's bring it up.
So Hosea, chapter 5 and verse 15. You read. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense.
The Lord said, I'm going to you. I'm turning my back on these people till they admit their faults. Go ahead.
And seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early.
That's the only time we want to call on the Most High God these days, when we going through something. Had an accident, about to lose our job, about to lose the house or the car. Then we come praising and asking the Lord to help us. Any other time, we ain't got nothing to do with him. We want to do what we want to do. But he's telling us to keep his commandments and we straight. He He'll do everything else for us. But we don't know his commandments. We don't know him. The majority of our folks say, I know the Lord. I got a relationship with him. They don't know the first thing about him. And that's the whole reason why we out here on the highways and byways, to speak to our people, to wake them up and let them know that they had a one true God of the Bible, the creator of the heavens and the earth and everything therein. The other nations, they don't have a God. They gods are idols, the sun, the moon, and the stars. We got the only true living God. And they trying their damnedest to get in our position. And when we talk to the majority of our own people, they reject it and keep walking. They reject glory, being in glory, being royal, being chosen, to want to be equal to or less than the other nations or the oppressor. But the Most High God tell us throughout the Bible on a constant basis, you are my peculiar treasure, special, holy, above all nations on the face of the planet. But we reject it as a majority. And we wonder why things happen the way they happen in life. So once again, I ask you, do you think the Lord fight for us? It's a simple question, but the answer is no. And why he ain't fighting for us? That's another question. Why is the Lord not fighting with his people? If we ain't keeping his commandments. Before you leave though, take your fly in the car so you can get some more knowledge on it.